Good morning, students. Dear students, today I am going to explain you a poem of class 10, Animals. This poem has been beautifully described and narrated by the poet Walt Whitman. The narrator of the poem seems to have a very good understanding and attachment with the animals. And that is why he has described this into this poem also. Through this poem, the writer wants to say that how he feels love for animals, how he has a better understanding with animals, and one more thing which is very importantly he has tried to describe is that how does he finds animals as more trustful than the humans. How he shows that he has faith and belief on animals, which he says is stronger than at the humans. Now, let us talk about the learning objective of the poem, because every poem has a learning objective into it. And the objective of this poem is that you should understand that what is the theme of the poem and what kind of language is used by the poet. The poet into this poem has used very easy and narrative language, and the theme is to make the students to understand the reflection and expression of deeper understanding which the poet possesses for the animals. Now, I am going to read the first phrase of the poem for you so that you can easily understand the explanation. I think I could turn and live with animals they are, so placid in self-control. I stand and look at them long and long. So the poet is saying, the poet Walt Whitman has given a specific feeling, and he says that he is very comfortable with the company of animals. He says that he feels self-contained. He feels placid with the company of animals, as they do not sweat and whine about their conditions. They do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. And there he makes an explanation. He says that they do not whine and weep. Animals does not weep for their sins, and they do not remain awakened at the night. Why? You would have heard so many humans saying that I am not getting proper sleep. I am feeling sleepless. I do not get good and sound sleep. You know why? Because they are filled with so many troubles, so many problems, and they keep on thinking about their sins also. Whereas animals does not feel so. They do not sweat and whine. That means they do not weep about their conditions. Why? Because animals have a satisfaction whatever conditions they are being given with. They does not have greed into their life. They does not have dissatisfaction. They are not habitual of cribbing their conditions and narrating it to others. Whereas animals who does not have all these problems are found to sleep peacefully and live a peaceful life. But humans are always greedy to have more into their life. The greed can be of a luxurious life. The greed can be of a luxurious car, of some happy and healthy atmosphere around, but they do have some or other kind of greeds. They does not find satisfaction in their life. Because if today I have something, tomorrow I would like to have something which is better than that. And this is why the humans lives a life which is full of dissatisfaction, whereas the animals are found to live a life which is full of satisfaction. Moving ahead, the poet describes, no one is dissatisfied, not one is dement with the meaning of owing things. Not one kneels to another, no to his kind that lived thousands of years ago. Which has been described well by the poet by saying that the poet desires to live among the animals. Why poet seems to be happy with animals? Why poet seems to be satisfied with the company of animals? Because they are self-content, they are too wise, and they are able to adjust themselves in any kind of conditions. Animals are always satisfied, and the animals, they do not possess the meaning of possessing things. They do not have that hunger of getting more things into their life. They do not show respect to others. Humans are habitual of showing respect to others. Though we might not be feeling it, but we do show. What does it mean? That we are living a life which has a dual feeling. Whereas animals are quite transparent. They live, they share, they react in the same manner as they feel. So that has been shown that they do not show respect to others, to their thousands of old ancestors. They are equal in sorrow and happiness. They behave equally, whether they are happy, whether they are sad. Not one is respectable or unhappy over the whole earth, so they show their relations to me and I accept them. And that is why the poet says that whatever the relations they show to me, I do respect that and accept that. They bring me tokens of myself, they evince them plainly in their possessions. I wonder where they got those tokens. Did I pass that way huge times ago and negligently drop them? And towards the end, the poet explains that he has a deep desire to learn more from the animals. Because he finds that animals are able to show their deep concern. It seems that they have the sense of giving respect in the shape of token and show their plain feelings to the others. Why we are saying plain feelings? Because they do not change them. Whatever they have in their heart, they pretend it in the same way. They do not have any kind of falsehood. And the poet is much surprised at their quality. The poet is surprised at the quality of the animals, how loyal, how satisfied, how plain and happy they are. Whereas the poet feels that animals can give a lesson to the humans, and we as humans can learn many qualities from the animals. Towards the end, I am sharing the screen of the learning of the poem, the moral which has been given into the poem. You must read this, and I hope that this would also going to make it easy for you to understand the poem. Read the poem once more, children. I hope it would become more clear to you. The poet Walt Whitman has shared this poem from the Song of Myself, creating a part so that we can understand that how the poet feels his love for animals.